Hi, everybody, and welcome to Book Club with Bay. I am Bay, and this is Bay. Say hi, Bay.
Hi, Bay.
And this is real life Bay. Say hi, Noah.
Hi.
This is my boyfriend, and I have other Bay.
Hi.
Off camera over here.
We got all the bays.
We have all the Bays today. Okay, so today we're talking about The Last Wish by. Don't worry about it.
It's the Polish version of Andrew is his first name. I don't know how to pronounce it in Polish. Sapkowski.
That.
Yeah.
And it's the first book in the Witcher series, which we had to ask you because every which way we looked it up online, we got a different answer of the reading order. We had no idea what to do. So we're gonna start off with ratings, as which we normally do, and we're just gonna go back to how we. You know what? We're gonna do it the new way we've been doing it. So first and foremost, do we stan or don't stan? Bay.
There were a couple of things I liked in it, but it was just I was confused, and I've realized why I was so confused afterwards. So that could change, but right now I don't.
I don't.
I know why I was confused though. So maybe on a re-listen, it could be different.
Well, something that I was telling SDA was that luckily this is the only book in the series, and she says that this wasn't the problem, but this is the only book in the series that jumps around so much, both chronologically and from viewpoints, or at least in the next book. If it does jump to someone else's thoughts, it's very clear, like, okay, now this is this character. Like, don't make a mistake that thinking it's another one. So I'm not sure why he did it that way, to be quite honest.
Yeah, because this one wasn't particularly clear when, I had no idea whose head the omniscient head was in at any given point.
Sure.
Well, and not only that, it hopped. So, like, from sentence to sentence, we were in a different head, which was very confusing, especially because we weren't given names. So it wasn't like, Tom is thinking this and like another person is thinking this by name. It was just like vague descriptors, which could have all been describing the same person or different people. And it was like, what the fuck is going on?
I think one of the other confusing things was, because I know that this was written not first.
Right.
And so I imagine a lot of exposition has occurred in the books that were written prior to this one, but we didn't get the benefit of the exposition in this, so it kind of just
you would think so.
The fuck is a Witcher?
Well, that is another, and I don't know if maybe this is because it might be confusing for us because it was written in Polish first and then translated to English. But like on the cover, like I know y'all. Did you listen to it too, or did you read like a physical?
I listened.
Okay, so on the physical copies, it says an intro to or introducing The Witcher or something like that. So it is supposed to be like the one you read first.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't say Witchers are da da da. Like,
I mean, we kind of did get a vague description of how witches are born in one of the short stories, but I found out I have a vague idea of what it is now, but that's because I did a bunch of Googling after I finished because I'm like, I don't understand.
So as someone who is a Witcher fanboy,
he's Buffy the Vampire Slayer, isn't he? Like he just goes.
No, how dare you? How dare you?
He goes around killing demonic beings. He even kills a vampire in this book. Or someone does while he's fighting it. It's the one where it's like the true love one. True love's
that's
kiss
right.
breaks the curse. They fight a vampire. He's Buffy.
You're right. So Witchers in the Witcher universe, basically, they are humans who are given like. There was something else that I had compared them to.
They're the chosen ones.
He's Buffy crossed with Captain America.
So basically, there used to be a whole shitload of them. Like Geralt used to be part of a group of Witchers that was like about 50 strong, because there's different like schools, if you will, like different factions, and there used to be about 50 other Witchers in Geralt's faction, but there was basically a riot where a bunch of peasants were like, oh, we think Witchers are evil because they're weird and not like us, and so they like stormed their castle and like killed them all except for Geralt and 3 or 4 others. Yeah. But basically, yeah, they're basically because they are mutants created through created through alchemy, essentially. You take a kid and then you train them, like you basically make them into a child soldier first.
But doesn't it but one of the stories said as well, it has to be a kid born by a destiny or something.
Oh no, that was the like child surprise of destiny, blah blah blah. That was specifically only talking about that one kid who was born like in that whole like betrothal short story.
Yeah.
That was just that. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah,
it made it sound like that's how they came.
Yeah, no, not always. In the Witcher series, like in this universe, obviously from that story, you can tell that people take the power of destiny very seriously, usually. But no, you don't have to be destined for it. I mean, there are sometimes that's how Witchers are made. It's implied that Geralt.
Confused.
It's implied that Geralt was actually just found as an orphan by another Witcher and then just taken to the school and was like, here, we're going to make this kid a Witcher. And that
No. I'm just getting more confused the more you're explaining.
So
it helps if you played the game.
I'm the only one that's given a rating.
Let's finish the rating portion of this. Okay.
I obviously stand, just for the record.
You obviously stand.
So we have underwhelmed, whelmed, or overwhelmed.
Wait, you didn't stand or don't stand, babe.
I did. I as of right now, don't stand because I was very confused and massive question mark. So don't. I'm sorry, but we'll get into stuff. Like, I have a lot of things to say, but I was overwhelmed first of all.
I feel like they were
so confused.
Yeah, and well, we also know that you were overwhelmed by he sank into a sea of chamomile.
Yes, I was, and
it's perfume. It's obviously perfume.
It's not. It's. We'll get into it. We have a format. Okay?
I actually think it was actually from because I've got the ebook in front of me as well. I think it says shampoo.
Honestly, that first part, it's been months since I read it, but I mean, okay, it's obviously what she smelled like while they were banging. Like, it's not.
It's just weird.
I'm sorry.
That is the most confusing sex scene I've ever read.
It is, and I've read a lot of sex scenes.
I wish I had my copy in front of me.
So I have it in front of me. It's incredibly confusing. Like, she came toward.
Hey, babe.
She came to him towards the morning. Like, hold on.
Because if my memory serves, it's when the girl who doesn't talk from the rest of it, I forget her name.
Yeah.
At the temple comes to him like in the night, right?
Yeah, and is she the one that like in the next? Because like these sections are called the Voice of Reason. Is she the one that's in like the next Voice of Reason? He's like, oh, she's not as pretty in the daylight. That's a shame.
Basically.
Like,
essentially.
Like reading it over a second time.
Yeah.
Now it's clear. Like now it's a little bit more sex. Like I'm like, okay, but Addie was listening to it with me, and we were both like, the fuck? And then we're like, oh, they're boinking. Anyway, food ratings. We have to do food ratings now. Trying to think.
Noah can start off the food ratings.
I'm gonna abstain to appear to remain objective.
No, you have to do it.
Okay,
Food
well
rating.
then I'm gonna say like some really, really good crispy hot wings.
Okay. Trying to think of a food that confuses me.
Okay. I've got a good one.
The yogurt covered Skittles.
Yes, yogurt covered Skittles. Yes. Yeah, right? Yogurt covered Skittles. I don't understand it. It's weird.
But some of them are good.
But there's like, yeah. Go.
I don't know. Like, I guess the only thing I can think of right now is I love spicy karaage chicken. It's like a Japanese chicken thing.
Yeah.
And we had one once where the sauce on it, it was like really plummy. Like a really plummy chili sauce on it, and it was weird, and I didn't know if I liked it or not.
So here's the thing about yogurt covered Skittles. Skittles are good, but there's weird bullshit on top now. That's what it is. So here was my issue. Here's my issue.
They just released them here. They might start releasing them other places. But judging by the ones that she and I had together, I would not be surprised if they weren't popular enough to release other places.
I kind of, but you need to buy a packet as a send in case not released here.
Okay. This was the big issue I had. It was confusing. And after I got about halfway through the first short story, I stopped, and in order to get through the rest of it, I had to both have the ebook open and look up a synopsis of the whole thing just to follow along.
Now, the first one is where he goes to the house of the guy who's been transformed. That's the first one, isn't it?
Yes.
No, the first one is where he goes and fights the
oh yeah
girl who has an uncle daddy.
Yes.
And that fight
Uncle Daddy. An Uncle Daddy, yes.
And that fight triggers all of the voice of reason scenes.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's all him recovering from that fight.
And the thing about the whole book is first of all, let's talk about the translation thing before we get into the plot. This book was competently translated.
Yeah. I feel like it was competently translated. There's no weird sentences.
There are
not any
weird like sentences or anything like that. It was a writing style problem.
And I think the reason it is so competently translated though is because it was a very, very, very popular book series in Poland. Like it was a big hit in Poland, and so it had enough traction to get a good translator.
Right.
So it got the Harry Potter translation treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is with like published, like with books that are picked up by publishers and stuff, is when they're translated, it's not that they're just translated. Somebody is also basically rewriting it.
Right, because the sentence structure of languages is so different.
So it's not that it's just translated. Someone has rewritten it. And it's a writing style.
We're not sure who to blame.
So it's a writing style problem. and it's like, and it's, I don't want to, it's like the boy book high fantasy writing style where.
Now, you said this to me last night, and I still don't know what boy book means.
Like,
men and women are drawn to specific writing styles and genres in general. most readers of say of a lot of high fantasy are male, like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones. Yes, women do enjoy them, but men typically enjoy them more. Same with different writing style. What's the show that John Krasinski was in on Amazon? And he's like a CIA spy thing.
Jack
Thrillers.
Yeah.
Men tend to like thrillers. Now,
yeah, like that's a men's series.
Yeah.
Now, thrillers and high fantasy tend to have different writing styles. Like thrillers tend to not have this floofy crap going on, but high fantasy
almost to a fault.
But high fantasy tends to be very like floofy in nature, which makes it like usually really hard to get into. So I think usually the issue with high fantasy is almost always the writing style and not even like getting into like the world building and understanding the world building. It's usually just the way that the information is conveyed.
It's not the content itself.
Yeah. I mean, part of it as well is it's also a bit jarring to read a male protagonist from a male writer. For us, I feel like, because we tend to read a lot of books written by women as well. I think that's part of it as well.
Yeah.
So we especially, like, definitely me, I'm assuming you as well, babe, but like we're used to, like, you know, this is what women think men think.
Mm-hmm.
And we know, like, when we criticize it a lot, but it's also like, but why aren't you noticing just how luscious her lips are? Dude. You're supposed to be doing this right now.
Why are you thinking to yourself that she's not as attractive in the daylight?
What a jerk.
Also, I will say,
mean, that's it though. That does happen.
Yeah. I mean, not just men think those kinds of things, but I will say, in Geralt's defense, which is something I might be saying a lot, the transformation pretty much robbed him of all human emotions, except for basically like anger and like that's really the only real emotion he's supposed to be able to feel is like anger related things. So like anger, frustration, annoyance, like. Like,
so he's like a Saiyan.
A what?
Super Saiyan.
Oh, a Saiyan, yeah. Basically.
Yeah.
I think him and Vegeta would get along pretty well, actually.
And I will say this too, when we were reading the Mark Lawrence books, before we even started, I told Bay this. I was like, you're not gonna be able to listen to it on double speed, probably. And you're not going to be able to do other things. Like, you're going to have to listen really hard, because if you don't, you're going to miss things. Because it's not...
that warning would have been handy with this book.
Because it's also like a dude high fantasy thing.
But it's also like, what, 7 stories?
What?
I said, but this book's also like 7, like something like 5 or somewhere between 5 and 7 stories. So it's like really confusing.
Yeah.
If you miss a minute.
And the thing about like the Mark Lawrence books is that like you do really have to be paying attention to what's going on, because if you zone out for even a second, the second you zone back in, you're like, what the fuck just happened? So even books I like, it has the same issue of you have to be paying attention the entire time. You're going to is
there a male version of easy reading?
Thrillers are usually easy to read. Like, they don't have the high fantasy.
It depends on who writes them.
That's
Picture
true.
Books.
Sports Illustrated is your easy reading.
Yeah, like I said, luckily, like if the decision gets made to like read the other books in the series for this as well, all the other books in the series are just novels in sequence and just have one story. Like,
Yeah, this is such a really confusing start.
Yeah, like I was thinking when I
And like
first read this-
we started off with confusing sex and uncle daddies.
yes, yes.
Like that's what was happening. Yeah.
Yeah,
I texted you about it.
and not only like is the first sex scene, I know we're harping on this, not only is the first sex scene confusing, but then we get like the immediate next scene is also incredibly confusing because we go to this bar, we're jumping in a plot, and also BT dubs. Spoilers, this is book club with Faye, not spoiler free book review with Faye. So in any case. So the immediate next scene when we jump into the first short story is this very confusing bar scene where I was just like yelling, "Whose head are we in? Who is the main character? I am so confused." Because she was like, "The main character is Geralt." I'm like, "I know, but who is he? I don't know who he is because the floating head is following everyone and I don't know what's happening." Because typically you're floating, even if it's like third person unlimited, you're not following 10 people at the same time. You're following one person and then we jump to somebody else. Like in Blackwoods, don't worry, we change perspectives a lot. But we do a squiggly and then we change perspectives. We're not just like
It's very clear.
Yeah, it's just, but it was like it was sometimes even in the same sentence, and I was like, "The fuck is happening?"
And
I don't know who anybody is.
Again, it's not that way. It's not that way in the other books. I don't know why it changes so much between first book and second book, but it does.
Yes, Faye.
Do you have?
27. I'm counting. Just give me a second. I'm currently at 32. The entire first part, at least so far, which is like 30 something paragraphs, it does not tell you who you're following. The first part of the first story. It's just
it never says Geralt.
The stranger. No, it just says the stranger.
Which
that's all you get.
And I get that's.
I mean, it's a choice.
I understand that's a creative choice, but I have a criticism. The stranger from whose perspective? The omniscient narrator, or this is why
even the narrator doesn't know.
I was like, from whose perspective?
And
that's why I thought we were following like the tavern keeper, because the like the bartender or whatever. Because I was like, because it would be a stranger to him. But then we were in Geralt's head, and he's not a stranger to himself. But then it's not acknowledging that Geralt knows who Geralt is.
I don't think we're in anyone's head. I think it's the head's head.
But then why?
Just like, who the fuck's this dude?
So if Geralt is a stranger, then how come everybody's not a stranger? I was just like, what the fuck is happening?
Well, everyone in that first one is a stranger. It's it's the Rivian, the barkeeper.
Well, then how does okay? So are the Rivian and the stranger two different people? Because I was like, oh, they're the same person. That's how I was so confused.
I don't know. There's also a pockmarked man sitting next to the outsider.
I don't know who anybody is.
Geralt is the outsider.
Then who's the stranger?
Also,
wait. The stranger is the Rivian.
Yeah, also Geralt, because his name is Geralt of Rivia.
Okay, so Geralt is the stranger, the Rivian, and the outsider.
I have a
He's not
question.
the pockmarked man.
Yeah, correct.
I have a question.
What is your question?
Why does the talking head know where he's from if he's a stranger?
His accent.
Because he's a stranger to these people. He's describing who he is to these people.
Yeah.
Like who is he to these people in this bar? He's the stranger. He's the outsider. But what is he actually? Well, they can tell he's Rivian because of his accent.
So we're not in his. So who are we?
I feel like the floating head's just sitting at the table.
Yeah, talking.
And he's just like, "Wow, what the fuck's happening?"
Let's
just narrate.
Stylistically.
Personally, I had no trouble following it when I read it.
But that's because you know it.
But I mean,
I also feel like you probably don't overthink books the same way we
probably
do.
also that. Yeah.
Bear looks sad. Wait, what does your shirt say?
I may be a fully fledged woman, but inside I'm a 12-year-old boy, is what it says.
Okay, that's fine.
I think
I just saw it had writing.
I think they had to carefully word that shirt to not make it like really weird. Because they could have said,
Probably.
they could have said, I'm a fully fledged woman, but inside me is a 12-year-old boy, or something like that.
Could have gone really weird.
Could have gone really bad with that. They're like, you know what? No, we're gonna do it correctly.
How did I just drink a liter? Sorry. Carry on. Okay, so yeah, part 1 of the first story is just there's the stranger and there's it's they have a fight.
Well, you could call it a fight, or you could just call it Geralt murdering people's faces.
He killed people.
Are you doing good?
No.
Yeah, isn't that the short story where like some dudes come into the either the tavern or the Wisem's house? And
It's
he, like,
the tavern.
their face?
Look, like they're in the tavern, and then someone comes and is like, "You got to come with me." And I think this is where he gets taken to the castle to see the king, who is the uncle daddy, to go get the daughter, who is evil.
Yeah, full test. Man, I wish I had my book. I don't know where it is.
Is it in your car?
Probably
Would you
in my
like-
car's in the shop.
Maybe send him the ebook.
He has a PC.
Oh, I'll wait 2 seconds.
Here, 1 sec. I'm gonna quickly search my room and see if I have it real quick.
Okay. While he does that, I will see if I have a PDF to send him. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. While he's gone, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of just like I'm just gonna understand the basic gist of what's happening and hope I don't get too confused. I kind of just hoped for the best with this. Oh, yes, I do have a PDF.
Oh, yeet.
I guess I'll have to send. Oh, I know what I can do. Are you gonna do a thing?
Yeah, it looks like I don't have it.
Okay,
Now,
we can.
Okay.
I have. We have a
Shameless
PDF.
shilling. I do have the second book, The Blood
That's
of
really
Elves.
helpful. That's so helpful.
But I don't have the first one.
We can send you a PDF. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be
Oh.
the most helpful.
If you send it to me, I
Let's
can send it to
push.
him.
Okay. While that's happening, I need you guys to just fill the silence for a minute because it's going to take me a minute.
Okay. So the first chapter of the first story is like the bar fight, and then there's like a guard.
Right.
That's-
I'm sorry.
That's like rar, and then he's like, okay, not rar.
What?
Say it again.
The guard is like rar, and then Geralt is like rar, and then the guard's like, okay, not rar.
That's not the one where he slashes the dude across the face, is it?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, the way you're describing it, I have no idea what's going on.
Well, because the guard is like, rar, come with me, and Geralt's like, rar, and then he's like, all right, not rar, and then the Geralt
Okay.
goes anyway.
There's a link in
Oh,
a side
yeah.
chat.
Bueno.
Yeah, so the first story is The Witcher, yeah?
Yeah, that didn't work.
That didn't work?
You have to copy and paste it.
I tried. I think I selected too much when I copied and pasted.
Yeah, it works when I do a copy paste.
Okay, yeah, there we go. I think it selected more than I meant to.
It's the best I can do.
What is this? Oh, boy.
I don't know. I haven't.
This is a different version of the book.
That's what I found. I haven't even. Yeah, it's not nicely laid out.
What the? Yeah, this is. Oh boy. Yeah, no, this is. Yeah.
Is that the version that we have, Bay? Like that we read?
Okay. Well, the ebook it looks the same. Yeah.
This is unpleasant.
What's just the layout of it?
Yes, this is horrible.
Yeah, no, it's not a pleasant layout.
Yeah, so that
But you don't have a Mac, so you can. I'm sorry.
No.
It's the best I can do.
Is how y'all read it with it everything left justified?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, this is because the view.
Look, I'll show you what. Oh wait, no, maybe I won't. There we go.
The one I'm reading.
That's the ebook we've got.
Every new sentence is a new line. This is horrible.
Yeah, and it's and it's all left aligned. It's not.
Yeah, no, that's horrible. Oh boy, but that's not how y'all read it.
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah, PDFs aren't a nice way to read a book in general.
Ugh.
No, we listened to it.
It's tremendously unpleasant. Okay, so anyway, the fight you were talking about, pay and leave, yell the talk man. I'll finish my beer.
I think, we covered the fight. Like, it's just like it ends with the guard, like with Geralt leaving and go into like the king.
Yeah, just the faultist.
And so after that, we get the assignment, right?
Yeah.
To
contract.
Yeah, he gets offered 3,000 to go find a princess or something.
Yeah.
And
that's something that's kind of unique about the Witcher universe, I think, is that like what made her into what she was. So is basically these ill feelings, and anyone can carry out a curse or a spell as long as they are told exactly how to do it and are given the right raw materials. Like there are some spells that only really powerful, magic users can do. But like simple hexes and curses, or things that appear to be simple, can be done by anybody.
So you can just say a curse on both your houses, and both houses are cursed.
Well, there has to be, like, I'll give you an example. This is actually in the third game. Basically, one farmer doesn't like another farmer because he married his sister or something like that. And he puts an animal skull on a stake outside his house because in their culture, they believe doing that invokes a curse. And basically, it's just bad luck. And because their culture believes that it happens, and because there was so much ill intent behind it, it does actually cause bad luck.
So it's a mind over matter thing.
Yeah, it's that they believe it so wholeheartedly, and because there was so much intense hate involved in him doing it, that created enough energy in this world in order to create it. But then all it takes to get rid of it is just knock the skull over and it's gone.
Okay.
So magic in Witcher took me a good minute to understand exactly how it worked. The show actually does a pretty good job of explaining it, though.
So who curses the daughter then?
Now I'm not sure if it's different. And again,
Or is it just screwing your sister's wrong, so therefore your child's cursed?
See, you would think, but no.
Okay.
No, so basically, again, basically this first story I read months before the rest of before I read the rest of the book. So I'm trying to remember. I know in the show it was somebody who was in love with the sister that was not her brother, and he was mad, so he put a curse. I believe that's still the case in the book.
Yeah, I don't know. They might have actually said how, and I missed it. But I do remember the king just being like, "Could this be because I fucked my sister?" And
oh no, I remember. Yeah, it is
mayhaps.
the same. It is the same in the book. Basically,
yeah, it is.
Basically, what happens is there was a guy who worked in the castle. His role is basically like he's the head of the guards, you could say. And he was the same age as the king, and at the time he was the same age as the king and the sister. And so he was in love with the sister, but she did not return his affections. It's kind of implied that also that this was a consensual relationship. It's the king did not rape his sister. That this was consensual. But the head of the guard, that eventually is what he became. He viewed it as like taking advantage of her, and manipulating her and all this. And so he was like, I loved her, and he didn't. He just manipulated her. And so, and I was really mad, so I reacted emotionally and sought out a way to put a curse on the child, basically.
And now she eats people.
And now she eats people. Now she's a Striga.
That's a reasonable response.
Yeah. So he's like, he said that a traveling magician basically came through town, and he was like, I want to curse somebody, and I'll give you some money if you show me how. And they were like, all right.
Okay. It's just it's so confusing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a fair thing to say that don't breed with your siblings. It's weird.
Oh yes, quite.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Life advice from Book Club with Bay.
Public service announcement.
Incest is not best.
Life advice from Book Club with Bay. Don't boink your siblings.
And definitely don't breed with them.
There's incest in this book.
Oh yeah, no.
It's very brief. It's brief incest.
Well, it sounds like the relationship was going on for a while. It's just only briefly in the book, though.
That's what I meant.
It wasn't, but it wasn't brief incest. They made a baby.
I mean, look, I'm confused overall. But the thing is, here's the thing: when you're relaying the information to me, it sounds like a good story. And when I'm reading the synopsis, it sounds like a good story. The book is just bad at conveying the information into my brain.
I'm hurt.
I'm sorry.
Like, reading this book is like the literary equivalent of getting a newborn, throwing it into the ocean and saying, swim, child, swim.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
No.
To be fair, okay. So
I'm so glad it's not me saying that this stream.
No, so
I'm always the to be fair.
I tried to prime SDA for this by getting her to watch the series with me on Netflix, and she didn't want to. But if she had watched it with me, she would have been much less confused.
But I shouldn't. The thing is,
you shouldn't have to watch the TV show based on the book.
Shouldn't have to. I know. But so, in case anyone's wondering, the first season of the Witcher Netflix series basically covers this book. It doesn't include the whole part where he is recovering at the temple. But it still includes Uncle Daddy story. It still includes the genie story. But there's other things that are in the series that aren't in the book. There's actually more. I would say there's more backstory and explanation in the series than in the book, which is weird. I know you shouldn't have to do that, but it does.
Usually the other way around.
I know. Yes.
Yeah.
So anyone who wants to read the book and feels like you might get confused, watch the first season of The Witcher first. You'll be less confused. Or play the games.
I didn't even know that there were games.
Yes. I haven't played the first one, played most of the second one, and have replayed the third one about 5 times.
I'm sorry, I just keep glancing back to the book and just like, I don't know what's happening. It's just like, here's all the information. It's not even all the information. It's just here's all the plot. Roll with it.
Yeah.
Like, I just looked over to where they're talking about like the sapphire with a pocket of air in it, and I also don't know how that happens. And I got caught up on that for a bit too long.
I'm not a geologist. I'm not sure.
I don't think it does happen. We're not even halfway through the first story.
All right, let's get through that.
So he goes and finds her, and they do a battle, and he wins, but he tries to eat her, and she tries to eat him, and then he wins, but now he's hurt.
So because
is that what happens?
Well, because he can't kill her. Physically he can kill her, but he knows that if he does,
he won't get paid.
Well, the king will probably just have him executed. And so basically he figures out from the guy who was in love with the sister that and they don't explain this very well. They just the guy explains, this was the curse. And so Geralt, knowing what he knows, realizes that the only way to break the curse is for when the sun comes up, for her to not be able to get back into the sarcophagus. So she sleeps in her mother's sarcophagus. That's where she sleeps during the day.
Okay.
That's so creepy.
Yeah. So
I'm not gonna lie. I missed all of everything you're saying to me.
Yeah.
Right now.
So she sleeps in her mother's sarcophagus during the day. It's think of her like a vampire, kind of. She's only
also close enough.
Right. And so Geralt figures out, just from knowing what he knows from what the guy described the curse as, that the only way to cure her is to keep her out of her sarcophagus when the sun comes up, basically.
Okay. So then he bites her?
Well, so they're struggling and they're wrestling on the floor, and he thinks the only way to get her off of him is to bite her. He can't use his hands, he can't use his sword, so he's like, fuck it, I'm going to bite her. And then she's like, fuck it, I'm going to bite you back, but I have really sharp, big teeth, and I'm a monster, so it's going to be a lot worse for you.
So he keeps her out of the thing in the morning, and then the curse is broken?
Yeah, and so she's turned human, but she's a human who, think of a human who would have lived in the wild as an animal for an indeterminate amount of time. But it's basically implied that she's around 10 or 12 years old. And so she has no idea how to be a person, because for her, she was never a person and then became this thing. She's always just been this thing.
So she's like Mowgli, who ate people. Yeah,
I would say Mowgli, but used to eat people. Exactly.
Okay, so then
now we're back to Voice of Reason,
right?
Where he's recovering.
Yeah, at the Temple of Melibula.
Yep. So this is where I got the first hint that the Voice of Reason story was connected to that one, because it went into this, and I was just like, okay, yeah, I buy it. And they made reference to what's her face. I was like, oh, I guess this happened after. And then I had an idea, and then I checked after I finished the book, which I should have checked earlier, but checked after. I was like, okay, yeah, no, that's it. But
so
yeah, and this is where he's a bit of a dick. Is this where he's a dick and he's like, oh, she's not as pretty in the day, fuck her, and he's mad at her?
It's not. I don't think he's mad at her, is he?
Oh, he gets annoyed.
I know he does get annoyed with her, but I don't think he's mad at her because she's not as pretty in the daylight.
I swear he was like, actually, I swear, maybe I was just like, fuck you, and I just decided he was mad.
I'm trying to find
probably
in the PDF. Jesus, this is horrible.
Yeah, the PDF's awful. I'm sorry.
Okay, there's The Witcher, and then there's The Voice of Reason 2.
Yeah,
that's
where it is.
Okay.
So then, yes, so.
Yes, with shame, he realized he felt resentment towards her. Resentment that she hadn't remained a dream and that he would never forgive himself for it.
But I think
absolutely
that means,
dare she?
I think that means more.
He was mad at her, but he didn't want to be mad, and he understood it was stupid, but he was still mad.
Right. I think it was that he was mad that she was real, not mad that she was not as pretty. Like,
okay.
Like, I don't think he wanted to have to be around someone that he had just boinked and then just be there awkwardly. I think that's more what it is.
No, because he's saying there was nothing of the water nymph in her. He thought she was looked like a water nymph, and she had freckles and had blue eyes, no, not black, and he's mad.
Yeah, but I think he knows that's like he was probably drunk.
See, this is also where I feel like it shows that this is targeted towards men instead of women, because women are reading this going, what a dick. He's mad that she's not pretty.
Guys like, eh.
So after he's like up,
yeah,
someone wants to show him his future, and then he's like, no.
Yeah,
I didn't catch that.
So the girl that he banged, Eola, she has the power of prophecy, and basically, okay, I don't know why it didn't happen while they were banging, but apparently, like if she touches hands with someone, she can.
Maybe they didn't touch hands.
They were just like they'll touch. They'll touch.
No, they were touching, just maybe not palm to palm.
That basically she can read their future, and Nenica, the basically head lady at the temple, is like, hey Geralt, you should probably see your future because you might fucking die one day. And he's like, I don't want to know my future. I don't want to know.
So would you want to know?
Huh?
Would you want to know?
No.
Bae?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because if it's prophesied, that means it's going to come true. So,
yeah, no, I would know that I shouldn't, but curiosity is
I'd be very curious.
I'm the cat that was killed. I can't not know things.
I would be very curious, but I wouldn't. I think in the end I would decide not to know.
I mean, Bae knows to what extent I've gone to know things about people before. Not in a in a completely creepy way.
That's the end of that voice of reason part, right? Is it she's like future and he's like, nah. Yeah.
And she's like, and then there's an argument where she's like, you're sick, and he's like, I'm injured, and then there's the segue into the next story, because like each of these scenes have like the segue into the next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have a thing where he doesn't have, like, where she's trying to be like, you need to have faith, and he's like, no. I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And then we go to Grain of Truth.
Yeah. Which
one's this one?
Which story is that? I don't remember the names of these.
Oh, this is the vampire one. This is the vampire one.
This is with the Verilyn was the guy's name.
Yeah.
That is one thing. All these Polish names.
Nevelin,
yeah. Which I think all of us have different ideas of what he probably looks like. I kind of picture him as almost looking like the Beast from the animated Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of picture him as like, and this is not at all based on the description. I just pictured a deformed person, and this is what I got. But you know, like the deformed guy from 300.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's probably not even at all semi-accurate to the description. I just get an idea in my head, and that's it.
Well, the only reason I say the Beast from Beauty and the Beast is because they keep talking about different features he has that are like animals, and that he's covered in hair.
Yeah, but then then that would be more accurate. But I just picture a deformed person, and Bay's just sitting there like, I didn't even know he was deformed. I'm guessing.
I knew he was deformed. I just
didn't picture it.
I didn't picture it.
So
it just didn't pop up.
So what did y'all think of this story?
This one, it was weird.
I knew there was rape.
It was weird. It was
Where was there rape in this story?
Well, the Beast thing. He did a rape-a-doodle, and then he was zapped.
Oh yeah.
That's why he was zapped.
That's right. The other soldiers. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and
that's why he's a beast, because he was zapped.
Yeah,
I missed that bit. That bit. Now I actually have zero sympathy. I thought it was a sweet story. I'm like, poor guy. And now I'm like, no, you should have stayed a monster forever.
Yeah, basically what happened is his father was a noble but not a very good guy, and so Nevelin went out as a young teenager. So I picture him like 13 or 14 years old. So basically his father sent him out with his men to extort money, essentially, from the peasants and the other soldiers that he was with, who were all, older. They were like, "Oh yeah, we're raping this girl. Come rape this girl with us." And that he didn't really feel comfortable with it, but he did it anyway. And this is another example of anyone can do magic in the Witcher universe. The girl he was raping, basically said, I forget how she worded it, but she put a curse on him, basically, so that no woman would ever want to look at him again. That he'd be so ugly and so repulsive.
Oh my god! I also know why you picture Beauty and the Beast. Sorry, I'm just reading ahead. There's literally a Beauty and the Beast moment in here. The fat trespasser, when he got his voice back, he lost it when he saw me. Blah blah blah. We came to an understanding. He sent his daughter instead to take his place. No, she was scared of me for a while, and then within a month, we were eating dinner together.
This is just
Beauty. Does that sound like a Disney story?
This is just Beauty and the Beast, but with a vampire. Rape. And rape, right? Okay,
but there's also no happy ending.
Yeah,
there's no happy ending.
There's absolutely not a happy ending.
I mean, the way it ended so abruptly, and I was like, "Wait, did I miss something?" I had to go back. I'm not gonna lie, I had to go back because I was confused.
Nope, vampire bitch is dead, and now he's human again.
Yeah, but it just ends with. The last line of the story is, it has to be true love, but she's dead and he's normal, and it's like, well, look, yay, but sad.
And so that was the curse. That
you found your true love, but you killed her because he killed her. Yeah.
No, she truly loved him. She was super in love, obsessed with him, but he didn't love her the same way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Witcher is big.
No,
sad
he
boy.
loved Witcher.
It's big. He loved her too, but it wasn't at least I didn't interpret it as being they didn't love each other the same. That's just how I interpreted it, at least.
Okay.
Yeah, Witcher is big sad boy energy a lot of the times. They like to harp on the fact that Geralt does not have a good life and that he sees a lot of bad shit.
Yeah, no, I'm getting that idea. I mean, one of them had a happy ending. One of the stories did. The little not virgin princess and a freak of a fiance, baby daddy. They had a happy ending.
I mean, for now, yeah.
Oh no.
Foreshadowing.
Oh
no! Why? Is it because he comes and takes the baby away?
No.
Oh
no.
And then
he's coming back to take the baby away, though.
Oh, Geralt?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He doesn't come to take her away. No. Yeah. That. I don't want to say anymore because it's. I mean, neither of y'all really care about spoilers. So, SDA, do you want to give your spoiler warning again, and I'll just kind of discuss.
We already gave it. It's okay.
So basically,
ask Mel if he's talking about Siri.
Yeah, it's Siri. Yeah. So
Yes.
basically,
It is.
So basically, what happens is,
Yeah.
the
Shut up, Addie.
So the girl, the
I'm
sort of
so
princess,
behind because I'm listening on my computer.
the princess, who was in that story in the castle, and the guy that was cursed that they had hid together. They did a Frozen, and they both died in a shipwreck.
Oh.
But after the child was born, and so the grandmother raised.
And now she wants to build a snowman. Sorry.
No, it's fine. And then this other empire comes, destroys the city, kills her grandmother, and she barely escapes. And by pure coincidence, destiny, her and Geralt meet on the road just by pure happenstance. And so Geralt raises her. So yeah, no happy endings there because her parents die.
How old was she when he gets her?
In her early teens.
Then what was the point of putting in "I'll be back in 6 years" for the baby?
Oh, he doesn't make it. There's other things going on.
I thought
and
deals were important.
He tries to come back.
Maybe that's why they died, because the deal wasn't fulfilled, that the baby wasn't given to him when she was 6.
He does try to come back at one point, but the grandmother has had how she was like, fuck destiny. I don't have to listen to bullshit. He tries to come back and get her, and the grandmother basically says, if you ever come back here, we'll have you executed, is basically what happens.
And that's why everything went to shit then. Okay. Fair.
You don't fuck with destiny. I think it's either the second, or it's either the third or the fourth book is actually called The Sword of Destiny. And it doesn't mean an actual sword. It means like the things
metaphorical sword.
Right, the things that destiny will do to you if you fuck with it, kind of thing.
Oh. This series is evil.
It's like I said, it's big sad boy energy.
Oh.
So
we're back at the placey place.
Yeah. Yes, SDA, what were you gonna
say? That's what I was gonna say. What they just said.
Yeah, so we're back at Melethila's temple.
Yeah, and there's nighty nights there.
Yeah, big old dick bags.
Yeah, and are they there to be like, we want you to leave?
Yeah, because witchers are kind of seen as there's a lot of superstition surrounding them. First of all, like there are peasants that think, oh, if a witcher walks by your cow too closely, then when you milk the cow, it's just gonna come out sour, and that he'll make your children stupid. And There's a lot of superstitions.
Well, maybe they should stop having these superstitions if superstitions make the superstitions real. Did they know this? Did they just know that if they just don't anymore, then it won't?
No. Well, no, those things aren't true.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's
So could they become true if enough people keep believing it?
not really, because it's not
Why
like
not?
because just believing it isn't enough. Like there has to be like an action done. Like something has to happen too. That's what I'm saying. Like
the witch is gonna walk past the cow. That's the action.
no, I mean like okay, like they believe it, and there has to be like intent. It's a whole thing.
So if someone wanted to frame a witcher, all they would have to do is intend for the witcher to make the milk sour, and the witcher would make the milk sour, and then the witcher would be framed.
Yeah, but I don't think they would be like executed for that. I think they might just be asked to leave the town.
This is so cool. The rules are weird.
I know.
Bae, help me.
I'm confused.
So, but
Your
also,
explanations are raising more questions than they're giving answers.
Do you have a flowchart?
no, I don't have a flow chart. I'm sorry.
If we do the next one, can we have a flow chart?
Yes, I'll be more prepared.
I will say though, he is very excited to be talking about it.
Nobody reads these books. At least no one I
Because
know.
they're confusing.
They're not
I'm looking up a flowchart.
Is she making one?
I'll say this for the series. So the Netflix series actually jumps around in time, like timeline wise, a lot more than the book. I had to look up a flow chart for the Netflix series to see what the fuck was going on. I was like, what in the shit? I was like, this, and basically the Netflix series, the whole season, I think it takes place over like 30 years in one season.
You didn't need a flowchart for the show.
I
It
did.
tells you.
What? No, it doesn't.
50.
It takes place over 50 years.
50 years. Yeah.
That's a lot of years.
One season.
How old, like, does he age?
Geralt, I think, at least, okay. So the first game takes place, if I remember correctly, because I haven't played it. The first game takes place after the end of the last book. So like the first game picks
does
up.
He aged?
No, because not really, because in the third game he's like 150 in the third game.
Is that a special witchy woo thing, or is that the people who live really old?
It's
okay.
Yeah, it's a Witcher thing. They're sterile, so they can't have kids. They don't have emotions. They heal faster than regular humans. Like if this gives you an example, his mentor Vesemir, who is still alive, and he's old but he can still fight. So they
age, but they just age really slow.
Yes.
Okay.
His mentor is like 400 years old around.
Okay.
Do they also grow up really slow?
Well, no, because they are the trial of the grasses, which is the thing that actually transforms them from human to Witcher. They do that when they're like 18.
Okay, and so what's like the aging time frame? Is it like 100 years equals 1 year, or 100 years equals 10 years? Or...
It's never really stated.
So it's like they age like vampires in House of Nightmare.
So like Geralt,
the rules changed.
Geralt in the third game is like 150 years old, I believe. But he has the body of like a 35-year-old.
Okay. How many kingdoms are there? Because there are a lot of kings and queens in just this one book.
So the main kingdoms are Temeria, which Uncle Daddy is the king of Temeria.
Yep.
Then there's Redania. The three major kingdoms are Temeria, Redania, and Nilfgaard.
Okay.
but then there's Kedwin and Kavir and all these other small kingdoms.
So there's the 3 big ones and a bunch of little ones.
Yes, because you can think of it like there's England, France, and Spain, but then there's also like Belgium and the Netherlands and Luxembourg. Like there's also like little tiny,
and Denmark.
Yeah. So they're there.
Is it Denmark where I have a princess? I think it's Denmark. The crown princess of Denmark is Australian.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it's Denmark.
I don't know.
Yeah, she met the crown prince at the Olympics. That was
cool.
And now she has a European accent, and it's weird. Well, your accent changes when you move.
Yeah, but I mean, how old
I'm pretty sure
when she moved?
Oh, they've been together for 20 years now.
But she would have been like already in her 20s or so, wouldn't she have?
My daughter has an American accent, right? And when I talk to her, sometimes I do an American R.
Why does she have an American accent?
I don't know.
Confused.
I don't know.
Well, one time I visited. Maybe that's why.
Is there?
No, she had it before you, though.
Does she watch a lot of American cartoons?
We think it might be from Daniel Tiger.
From what?
Because Daniel Tiger has,
okay.
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was called. Yeah, well, that ended, and now there is a cartoon called Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, and it's like their children.
Okay.
And she loves it.
So, they say that kids, like even in foreign, like non-English speaking countries, learn a lot of English from watching cartoons if they watch them in English.
Yes, but I watched a lot of American stuff when I was little.
I mean, maybe
and I have a relatively bogan accent.
Honestly, when she gets older, when she stops watching American cartoons, that might change.
You're forgetting we're in Australia. All of our shows are American.
Really?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, like we have like Home and Away. That's about it.
Oh, well, I mean, maybe when she how old is she?
She's 4.
Well, yeah, maybe when she
starts school next year.
And while there are a lot of Australian actors in like a lot of stuff, they usually force them to have like
oh my god,
not an Australian accent.
Babe, I've shown you. I don't know if I'm pretty sure. Have I shown you Chris Hemsworth when he was on Home and Away?
Yes.
That's right. I always forget Chris Hemsworth is Australian.
Yeah, he was on Home and Away. And so was Heath Ledger and a whole bunch of other people. Yeah, Heath Ledger for a period of time was hated across Australia.
Why? Because
he played a character on Home and Away where he deflowered Sally, who Home and Away is like our big it's our big soap, right?
Okay.
He deflowered Sally, who is like
But Chris Hemsworth was on a soap opera?
Yes, he was.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
But at the beach.
Okay.
It's important when you see him to know that it's at the beach. Okay. I'm gonna bring it up. But yeah, but Heath Ledger deflowered Sally and then was a jerk to her as soon as he took her virginity.
How far into this book are we?
Halfway.
No, not far.
Not far at all. We're gonna have to start doing like this.
Yep. We're gonna have to. Yeah. All right.
I'm fine. Let me just find this freaking one specific picture of Chris Hemsworth on Home and Away. Though it's a mess. It's showing all the photos of like when he's older, and it's weird. Okay, here we go. His hair, babe. Share screen, don't know. Application window, we'll go this one. There you go. Oh, it's not letting me do it. That's weird.
Can you just send a link to the thing in the side chat?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Oh, there we go. Oh, I have to quit to make that work. I'll just send the link. Open image, new tab. Sorry, he's shirtless, but like it's Chris Hemsworth on Home and Away.
Isn't he always?
He's always shirtless on Home and Away as well, because he was a surfer. There you go, side joke. But his hair. Oh my god, his nipples look really lopsided in that.
Oh, they do look really weird.
But he used I couldn't find the actual picture, but like he used to wear like a puka shell necklace.
Of course he did.
And stuff. It was
Why
a thing.
are his pants so low?
Because this was the
Chris
early
Hemsworth on a soap opera.
and it was also the early noughties.
Oh, I see it now.
His
I
nipples really do. They look
just
really
how low all pants were very low in that period. Oh, have you guys seen Purge?
Purge?
Yeah, the Purge, the first the movie. If you
I know
watch it,
I know what it is, but I just never watched it.
if you watch it, the creepy guy in it, he was also on Home and Away. And I was actually really impressed when I realized that was him, because like he was like just this like adorable little like he was like the teen crush at the time, and he plays a psychopath really well. Back to book.
So let's speed run this book.
Okay. So Lesser Evil. Which one's Lesser Evil again?
Oh, that's the one with the girl and the wizard.
That's is that the Renfrey one?
Yeah, Renfrey.
It's the Renfrey one. Sorry, I'm just scrolling down. I see dyke, and I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, no, wait, the actual meaning of dyke. Okay, because that's like a lake, isn't it?
Oh, what? Oh no, a dike is it's like a man-made
Pond.
No, it's like what holds in a man-made pond. It's like a man-made like wall of dirt, of dirt or wood to keep in a man-made pond or something like that.
So it's like a weir.
Yeah, kind of, but water doesn't go over it.
Okay.
Yeah. If water goes over it, that's very bad.
So it's a beaver dam wall, but man.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like if you want to create a little pond, you build a dike and then it fills with water.
Or we could just, use words that we use.
Well, I'm sure this was translated by an American.
I mean, to be fair, like that's also it is a word. So what actually happens in this one? A wizard asks him for help because someone's trying to kill him that he's tried to kill.
Right, yeah. Basically, it's a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy. The wizard said that the girl's born. Basically, it's a solar eclipse. Basically, there was a solar eclipse, and there was a prophecy already that girls born under the solar eclipse would be psychopaths and monsters and murderers.
That's right.
Yeah. And so he's basically like, so we should kill them all or lock them up.
And that's a surefire way to turn someone into a psychopath.
Exactly. And so that's basically what happens. And she's there, and she keeps tracking him down no matter where he goes. And
yeah, I remember them having Geralt's trying to you can be better.
he's like, yeah, he tries to tell her, he's like, you don't have to do this. He made you this way. She's like, nope, I'm this way because I'm cursed because of the solar eclipse. Like, she's just convinced that that's why it is, because she's like, well, I am a monster, so it must be because of the solar eclipse, not the circumstances of my life that have been so horrible.
Yeah, and because he decided he wasn't going to kill her unless she made him kill her.
That's basically they eventually got into a duel, and he was like, don't make me fucking kill you because I think you're neat. And I think you could be a good person. And she's like, nope, I can't be. So now you have to kill me.
Okay, I just need to remember as well that if a boy ever calls my daughter neat, she's never allowed to bring him home. Can you imagine?
I think you're.
I just don't think he would have the balls to deal with Stixie.
But yeah, I think that's. Well, I don't think he meant neat as in a romantic way. I mean, they did boink because Geralt boinks like he boinks his way across the Northern Kingdom. Huh?
I missed that. When did they have sex?
He was staying in he was staying in a room in the town, and she snuck in through the window, and they had sex.
Okay.
Yeah. So like,
I'm not gonna lie, I guess I missed a lot.
Yeah.
I was also listening to this while running errands and driving, so that could have been why.
Yeah. So Geralt is sterile because he's a Witcher and takes full advantage.
Can our STDs a thing?
Yes, but because he's a Witcher, he's immune to most diseases. So.
Oh, okay. Can he be a carrier?
I don't know. Possibly. So yeah, maybe he's just spreading hepatitis across the Northern Kingdoms without knowing it.
No.
Yeah, because I think actually at some point, either in the second book or in one of the games, someone actually mentions like, oh, he probably just has hepatitis or something like that.
Okay. Oh, okay. And then we go back to the placey place. Where are we? We're at the place.
So it's a temple of Melitala, which is a very popular goddess in the Witcher world. And her temples are known for being like places people can go to if they're injured, like kind of like a hospital.
Is she a childbirthing goddess that was mentioned at some point?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And does anything important happen in this thing?
I don't believe so.
Does anything important happen in these scenes, or are they just like ways to like get segue into the stories?
I think it's mostly a little bit of characterization and segues.
Okay. Well, now we get the one with the freakazoid and the slutty princess. She's unwed and pregnant, okay?
But she's in love, okay?
But she's a whore.
She's a whore. I'm sorry, I didn't realize Australia lived in the 1950s.
And you're talking to someone who has 2 bastard children. Like, what can I say? But I am not a princess.
So it's okay.
I am but a commoner in Western Sydney. I don't know any better. Okay.
So yeah. So. Do we care about spoilers?
No.
No, I don't care about spoilers.
Okay, so I don't know exactly how it happens. So you know how it basically in the book it goes, oh yeah, the king fell off his horse and this guy saved him and he was like, you can have whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it happened.
Off his horse.
What?
Did he knock him off his horse so he could save him?
No.
Okay.
That would make sense, but no. So it turns out the dad doesn't actually die in the shipwreck.
Yep.
The mother does. The dad doesn't. And turns out he is actually the rightful heir to the throne of Nilfgaard, the major, like... So these stories take place in the northern kingdoms, so like Redania, Temeria, and all those. And then there's Nilfgaard, which is like they own basically all of the south. They're a huge empire, and it turns out he's actually the rightful heir to that empire.
Yeah, it does imply that he is of noble, at least noble birth. Well,
right.
It says that he's of noble birth, but because he's, a freakazoid, he gets sent away.
Right. Turns out he's a full-blown emperor. And later on, he makes his self known, and he's like, Ciri, you're my daughter, and you're super powerful, because she is. Siri is basically because of her bloodline, is basically a conduit for magic.
Okay. Well, then is his daughter/daughter's husband, because that's the issue with him and his wife, that she can't actually, like, she can't inherit, but her husband can because she's woman. Does that mean that his daughter is heir to both?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
is this one of the places where you can be heir to both, or do you have to sacrifice one for the other?
Well, technically, Nilfgaard absorbs Sintra, so by being the ruler of Nilfgaard, even if she wasn't the Princess of Sintra, she would be ruler of Sintra as well.
So is his home kingdom the kingdom that invades his current kingdom?
Yes.
Was that planned?
Yes, his home kingdom is the one that invades, but the princess and the shipwreck happened before the princess could take the throne, so technically they weren't the rulers yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so like he would have been eventually, but I guess I don't know if he got impatient or what. Honestly, I don't know what happened. Like I said, I don't know how that happens. So
politics.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't know how it goes that he is the rightful heir of this empire and then becomes the weird monster guy.
Destiny.
And shipwreck happens. I don't know how. I don't know.
Destiny. Yeah. So in this one, the queen is ready to pimp out daughter to an eligible bachelor.
Yeah, crap on great.
Yeah, and she wants Witcher Dude there, and she doesn't tell him why. But then he gets told a bullshit story, but it's actually to stop this guy from coming. Is that right?
It never says that, but that's I think what we're supposed to pick up, but it never says it.
Yeah. But then he arrives and he's like, "Behold, she's actually my possession." And the queen's like, "No," and he's like,
"Yes,
no.
Behold, she is an object, and I am her owner."
That's literally what it says. I won her fair and square.
Now she's not unhappy about it, but yeah.
No, because they've been boinking for a year.
Yeah.
Like, did she ever see him as a monster?
She only saw him as a monster.
Well, he's human between
that's right. Yeah.
midnight to dawn.
Yeah, so I'll send a picture of
what does he look like?
I'll send a link in the side chat.
Also, how old is he? She's 15, and so 15 years ago he was strong enough to rescue her father.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm thinking he's like 40, and it's weird.
So I just sent a thing to what he looks like in his monster form. At least that's in the show. So.
Oh, he's like a hedgehog.
He's a hedgehog boy.
I really hope he was in human form when they did fuck.
Yeah, so.
But, like, he's at the very least 30.
They do also show his human form in the show.
Okay,
but so one of the things is she does not look 15 in the show. I don't know if
I think they probably aged her up.
They probably aged her up
to not make it look weird.
They aged most of the teenage girls up. Like Sansa was supposed to be like 11, and they made her like 13 or 14.
Yeah,
it is a couple years older.
I'm trying to find a picture of both of them, like with him in his human form and her next to him, so I don't have to send more than one link. But I don't think I'm going to be able to do that.
Is he meant to look like a hedgehog?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing as well. My kids were watching while you're getting those. My kids were watching Sonic the other day, and my daughter's like, "Mommy, what's Sonic?" And I'm like, "He's a hedgehog. He's a blue hedgehog." And she goes, "No, he's not, because he has 3 big spikes in the back of his head, and that's it." And I'm trying to tell her, like, I'm sorry, but like, he's a cartoon hedgehog. What do you want from me?
So the one I just sent has her, what she looks like in the show.
Okay, let's have a look. She's like 40.
And then I'm gonna send another one. That one I just sent is what he looks like when they lift the curse.
Yeah, no, they definitely aged her up because she's old as fuck.
They aged him down, if anything, for the show, because he would have to be like 30 something.
Yeah,
at least. But she is not even a teenager. She's my age.
So yeah.
But yeah, she's like, but mommy, I love him. I want to fuck a hedgehog. And the queen
Mommy, I want to fuck a hedgehog.
Like I wouldn't recommend it.
God.
I get what okay, what's worse? Hedgehog man? Bird man? Or horse man?
Given that Rafame is supposedly bird head and all torso.
Yeah, he has hands on the ends of his wings.
Yeah.
And human eyes, but they're red. And the rest of him is a giant bird.
Like, that is way worse.
But she wanted to suck off the horse penis. All Stevie Ray did was kiss the beak.
Kiss the beak.
Like,
but come on, when haven't we all kissed the beak at some point?
Did you ever make out with a beak?
I wouldn't say that.
Like,
Stick your tongue in a beak's mouth?
I'm sorry, being a horn dog for a bird and horse dick is worse than part-time.
Like, I imagine this guy would at least have a human-looking penis.
What?
Well,
Duty?
Here's the thing. He's cursed to have. Here's the thing. He's cursed to have a part-time hedgehog form, which is not the same as being a full-time bird and a full-time centaur.
But would it be spiky?
But sometimes, here's the thing. He has a daytime human form, right?
And no, midnight to dawn.
Yeah, midnight to dawn human.
Okay, so you can boink the human form.
Yeah,
in theory, yes. But in this situation, there's no human form.
What?
In this situation, there's no human form in this discussion. If we're discussing what's worse, hedgehog, horse, or bird.
Yeah, no, what would be worse? I imagine that
the bird. Rafame has to have a bird dick.
Yeah, but the issue with that is, right, like, you know, like, I don't know if you've seen a bird dick. They're not.
Have you ever seen a duck's penis? It's huge. It's longer than their body.
How?
It just is.
Have you ever seen a horse penis?
Yes.
Like ready to go horse penis?
Yeah, I've ridden horses.
Yeah. Not like. Would you ever want to suck that thing off?
Well, no, but the fact that it is a horse is secondary. The primary thing is it's a penis.
Okay. Okay. I feel like the horse is probably the worst option.
Yes. Well, no.
Worse than spiky? Worse than spiky?
I don't think the penis is spiky.
No, it's not.
It absolutely has to be.
No.
It's like
a hedgehog penis isn't. Oh no, that's got a spur. That's spurry, not spiky.
But still, that's why the female cat screams. It's because it's so painful.
Yes, I know. But the spur is what triggers ovulation.
Yes, which is also weird. And it's not just one spur. It's like it's a lot.
Yeah, stop it.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, back to
yeah. Do hedgehogs have spurry penises?
No, I don't think they do.
Are they like because they're called hedgehogs, which like
I'm
pigs
gonna open up an income.
Oh no.
do hedgehogs have corkscrew penises like pigs do?
I doubt it because they're not actually pigs.
I know they're not, but they might have the same penis.
Okay, I'm in an incognito tab.
To look up a hedgehog penis.
Well, that's really interesting. That is that.
You know what, Bay? He can stay because we're having a discussion about animal dicks and what kind of bestiality is worse, and he's fine with it. You can keep him.
Moreover, there's also bull bestiality in House of Night.
All right, we need to move on with this book.
Okay,
Because we need the report on the hedgehog penis you just looked up.
Okay. I'm trying to find suitable image.
Well, you can't share we're not displaying it. We need a description.
No. It's
just to send to us so we can have a look.
The description is small, like you can't really tell.
Oh well, it's fine then. Hedgehog is the best option.
Huh.
That's the verdict.
The bull. I think the bull is worse than the horse, though.
And like I said, moreover, given that the hedgehog is a cursed human, that also helps the case because
your child's going to be human.
Yes, and also you can break the curse, and also like Rafame, his only form is bird. The centaur horse thing.
Prolapsed one. You sent us a prolapsed one.
I couldn't find any other.
And the centaur, his primary form is horse dick. I'm not looking at it. I'm not doing it.
Poor little hedgehog.
All right. Anyway, let's continue with the Witcher
Moving on.
I have to go back to bed at some point.
Okay, so she's like, "Mommy, I want to fuck a hedgehog," and Mommy's like, "No," and she's like, "Yes," and she's like, "No," and then there's a battle, there's a duel, and then she's like, "Mommy," and she's like, "Fine, you can fuck a hedgehog," and then
and then he's not a hedgehog anymore.
And then he's not a hedgehog anymore. and she's pregnant because she's been fucking him for a year.
Yeah.
And we know how that story ends, unfortunately, but not in this book. In this book, they live happily ever after.
Right, exactly.
The next time they get mentioned.
Yes.
All right, cool. So moving on.
What's his name? Like, it's pronounced Junie, yeah? Like Dooney?
Dooney, yeah. Dooney.
Okay, because it's spelt Dunny.
Yes. Yeah, well, in the show, they pronounce it Dooney, so.
I'm pretty sure in the book, like in the audiobook, it was Dooney too.
If I was reading it, I probably would have pronounced it Dunny, but.
Yeah, I would have remembered it being pronounced Dunny in the book, so. Now we're back to the place, and there's a dandelion, but if I was just reading it, I would have pronounced it dandelion.
Well, that's his name. It's Dandelion.
In the audiobook, it says dandelion, and
that's really dumb. It's dandelion.
Yeah, because it looks like dandelion.
It is. It's dandelion.
Why? Okay. Child naming advice from Book Club with Bay: don't call your kid dandelion.
Well, that's his chosen name. He has like a really long, because he's minor nobility, so he has like a really, really long nobility name.
Okay.
And he's just like, I go by dandelion.
Advice
from Book Club with Bay. Don't name yourself Dandelion.
It's his stage name.
Stage naming advice from Book Club with Bay.
Don't choose dandelion.
The advice stands.
Whatever. In the show, they call him Yaskir.
That's probably a better choice.
No, it's not. I hate it.
It's not dandelion.
Oh
yeah, that's why I hate it.
Right.
So yeah, we meet him and have a chatty chat with him, and now it's the edge of the world where the devil is eating the crops.
But it turns out that it's not a devil, that it's a state. What do they call him? A fawn?
Yes.
A what?
Wait, what?
He's a fawn.
Oh, it's a fawn. Okay.
There's just so much stuff.
Are you tired, babe?
No, like I mean, first of all, yes, but like there's just a lot of stuff, like a lot of magical stuff in this one book.
Yeah. Do you want me to just speed run the rest of the book real quick?
Yeah. Tell us what happens with Fawny Fawn.
So basically, him and Dandelion go to the edge of the world. They find some hick redneck farmers with weird accents. This fawn is in their crops, stealing their shit. They think it's a devil. Turns out it's not. Turns out that it's a fawn working for some elves that are mad because refraining from being problematic. They're mad because they've been forced off their land. And so they're like, we're going to take it back from the humans. And so they capture Dandelion and Geralt, and they're planning on killing them. The fawn tries to stop them, and it turns out that the weird, quiet girl from the village who had the book is actually the incarnation of a nature and harvest goddess that the elves and humans both worship. And she's like, nope, you're not going to kill them. You're going to go back to where you were living before, and you're going to stay there. And that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's more chitty chatting at the placey place, and then the last wish. The sorceress thing was interesting. It was where it was like, no one ever wants their child to be a sorcerer because they take them away and you get no family gain from it. So they just take the ugly kids and make them pretty, but they always see themselves as ugly.
Yeah, I do kind of like the way they do that in this book and series.
What was her thing? Like she was a hunchback or something? He's like, I can't let her know that she's a hunchback.
Again, let me pull up a picture, because in the Netflix series, when you first see her, she's actually depicted like in her deformed state. Okay,
so like with them, do they just look is it like a glamour where they're actually still deformed? But
no, they are
fixed.
They are fixed.
Okay.
Did you find the image?
Me? Yeah. So that's what she looks like originally in the Netflix series. And she's not standing weird. That's just what she looks like.
I'm sorry, like it's fun. It's funny because like you look at her face and you can just tell it's like where they've gotten like the pretty actress that they've had to try and make look ugly but kind of failed. So they're like, well, let's just put a weird padding in her shoulder and it'll be fine. Yeah. No one will ever know she's pretty.
And then
I like the eye color though.
Yeah, so her having purple eyes is actually a plot point. So
yeah, I like the eyes.
I'm trying to find these
so she wants the genie.
So basically that's what she looks like, and then they turn her pretty, basically.
Yeah. And then they find a genie and and she wants the genie, but he has the genie.
Yes.
And she's like, release the genie so I can have the genie. And he's like,
but she thinks Dandelion has the wishes. She doesn't know Geralt has the wishes.
Okay. That's right. Yeah. And Geralt's like, but you're not strong enough. And she's like, yes, I am. And she's like, and he's like, no, you're not. And then they have a yes-no argument.
Right. And then it turns out she wasn't strong enough, and Geralt makes the wish. Does it? I forget in the book. Does it ever state what he wished for?
To save her.
That's not what he wished for.
I thought it was to save her.
Mm-mm.
What did he wish for?
He wished for them to be linked by fate forever.
Oh. But it does save her though then.
Yeah. But basically it means that the genie forces them to be in love. But both of them know that it's not real. So like they have this weird kind of relationship where they really love each other. Like the feelings, the emotions they feel towards each other are true love, but then logically they know it's fake.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That is kind of cool then.
And there's actually a really cool side mission. There's a really cool side mission that you don't have to do in The Witcher 3, like the game, where you can actually go and find another djinn and get that wish undone. And basically, so it's basically because Yennefer she loves Geralt, and she wants to get that wish undone so that she can see if she loves him for real.
Yeah. Oh, that would kind of really suck, eh?
Yeah. But yeah, I actually think that's a really because he wishes them to be linked by fate so that because the genie has no reason to kill Geralt. But if so that way she won't die either. But the way that the genie does it is he makes them fake in love with each other, basically.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So like emotionally they can't tell the difference. There's no difference between their love and like someone who like a couple who fell in love organically. But then if they sat down, they were like, well, do we really love each other, or is it only because the genie made us love each other?
Yeah, I don't know if it actually.
It does. I don't think it ever states that. In
No,
this.
no, it just cuts to, I heard your wish, blah blah blah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So they have really good chemistry. They're in love, blah blah blah. But it's magical, and both of them know. It's not like the genie took away their memory. They know that it's fake. And there's like a period of like 10 years where they don't see each other, and Yennefer really resents him for it because she's like, I don't want to be tied to anybody, because she is a strong, independent woman.
Yeah, that's actually kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But then we go back to the place, and it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm all healed now. On my way. Thanks for strolling down memory lane with me, friend. And she's like, no worries.
And then he and Yola accidentally touch hands. She sees his future and has like a seizure. And then he leaves.
Yes, yeah.
And then
it's actually kind of graphic. Yeah, I forgot about that bit. It's just blood, bones like broken white sticks.
Yeah.
No, I'm done. Gross.
That's talking about Geralt's death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to know that tendons like whitish cords exploding from beneath cracking skin. If I knew I was going to die like that, no thank you.
Yeah, you're going to die horribly.
Yep.
Yeah, you're going to get to hear it.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
And so he leaves, and then he meets the knights on the road with the dwarf guy, and he whips he gets that big slashy cut across the young knight's face. And then basically the older knight is like, I'm going to fight you. And he's like, fucking fight me, dude. It's like, you saw what happened to your bro.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I don't think I will. And that was it.
Yep. And then it's farewell.
Yep.
And then the book ends. It was a confusing ride.
It was.
It was a very confusing ride, but we got through it. I think you've raised more questions for me than I've got answers for.
Well, maybe now you'll watch the series on Netflix. Shameless shilling here.
I'm confused. I'm still confused, babe.
I am too.
Henry Cavill actually does a really good job.
We might have to actually just finish the series on Netflix.
We might have to.
Well, the series isn't caught up with the books yet, I will say.
Well, still.
We'll discuss later.
Yeah. So anyway, that was that. And
goodbye.
It was a thing.
So I'm not sure exactly what order we're doing what's next in, but
we'll work it out.
We'll work it out. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.